Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Open Equine Market Commentary for the week of June 18th. My name is Toby Gennaro, and we'll be taking a look here at some of the markets and what's going to be happening here in the upcoming week. And just starting out here, looking at the S&P 500. Here we're looking at the ES futures, and I've just got some of the higher time frames up. Taking a look at the monthly chart, we can see, since the biggest rundown here in 2008, basically the market crashed, and then we've been on just a consistent uptrend with one pullback, two pullback, and then it looks like we're getting the third pullback here. And we're not closed out here on the month yet. We still have another 2 weeks to go, but we're getting a nice bullish candle here in the buy zone, in and amongst that 10 and 20 period moving average on the monthly chart, which can be pretty powerful. So we're still going to have to wait to see at the end of the month how this candle closes out, but it's looking to be bullish. If we go to the weekly chart, we can see this level right here around 1340 has been resistance for quite some time. It was support on the way down, and then coming back up now. Once we broke through it, it's going to turn into resistance. We've been bumping up against that. If we can get through that 1340 level, we'd really be looking for the pullback to 1340, then to get long, and then start to look at some of these other levels here. There's going to be some congestion here around 1365. If we can break through that, more than likely we'll get back up to this 1400 level. So things are looking pretty good. You can see that a little more clearly on the daily chart. We've got just really a nice classic reversal pattern in place here. We went directly from a lower low to basically a higher high, and then as you recall last week we were looking for that pullback to put in that higher low, and then we were looking for the higher high, which we've just gotten to right now. So if we can get above this level now, we're going to be getting into some resistance here at 1355. We might see some consolidation here this week, but if we can start to break through this level, you start to see us moving back into this 1380 level, and even possibly back up into this 1400 level. May not all happen this week, really dependent upon some of the news coming out of Europe. Had some good news coming out of Greece yesterday on the elections. Looks like they're going to be getting that bailout accomplished. So I think the markets are going to be somewhat headline driven here for the foreseeable future. So it's really going to depend on what kind of news comes out of some of the other sovereign nations there and some of the debt issues that they're facing. But overall, the charts are looking very bullish. Higher highs, higher lows in place. It looks like we're going to be moving back. And then just in the overall scheme of things, it looks like this was really just a 50% retracement, as we had talked about before, and then we're looking to go back then and retest the highs. So taking a look at the 480 chart, right in and amongst the 10 and 20 period moving average in the buy zone, we're starting to get a bullish candle set up. You can go down and check some of the intermediate time frames like the 240 and the 120. There's some other bullish candles getting set up in the buy zone there as well. Market's looking to potentially push higher. So we just got done looking at some of the large cap U.S. equities. Let's take a look at some of the small caps here on the Russell 2000 index, and just looking at some of the same time frames here on the monthly chart. You can see we got a really nice bounce off that 730 level, which had been a really solid support level going quite a ways back, all the way back to 2008. And so that support level now has held from that bounce, and we're looking to be moving right back up into that 780 level on the monthly chart. So once again, similar to the ES, we have a nice bullish candle setting up right there in the buy zone, in and amongst that 10-20 period moving average. Again, another 2 weeks to close out, but it's good to be able to see that very positive sign. Again, we have this 780 level here on the weekly chart. We had that pullback and then that move up last week right into that 780 level. So that resistance, we got a bounce down off of there, and then looks like we're moving back up into that level. So again, if we can get a break of that 780 level, we'd be looking for the retest of 780, and then looking to move higher into some of these levels like 824, potentially back up to the high of 850. See that a little better here on the daily chart. Just a nice solid level there for support. Now becoming resistance, looking for a break of that level. Again, we have a nice reversal pattern, went from the lower low to the higher high, and then last week we were looking for that pullback to set up that higher low again, and just got a nice equal to the left shoulder placement here, and we're looking more than likely to bounce right back up into the 780 level, more than likely either consolidate there or break through there. and then we'll be looking for the retest of that 780 level to then go higher. So the market's looking very very bullish here, even on some of the small cap U.S. equities. Going down to some of the smaller time frames, again, you got a nice bullish candle here on the 480. Those moving averages, as you can see, barely see that, but they're getting all crossed up and in alignment with the 50, the 20, and the 10. If you go down to some of the lower time frames like the 240 and the 120, you'll start to see some similar bullish candles setting up in the buy zone, and you'll have these moving averages more in alignment on some of the lower time frames. So things are looking very bullish across the indices, both the large caps as well as small caps. And moving on to some of the foreign currencies, looking here at the pound yen on the monthly chart, have a solid support level, been in existence for quite a while at this 118 level. So it really have been trending in, putting in lower highs into that flat level. We're getting some divergence on the monthly chart, some divergence on the weekly chart as well. Signals us the fact that the trend may be weakening here and may be ready to reverse. Looks like we're having a bottoming structure come in on the monthly chart here. We don't have the moving averages in alignment yet going long, but as we start to move down on the time frames, we can start to see a little bit of a reversal pattern setting up here. We have a level in here that had been support for quite some time at 124 a number of weeks ago and had a number of touches here before we broke through, put in that low, and now we're coming back up. We're retesting that support level, which is now proving to become resistance. And if we move over to the 240 time frame, we can see that a little better with these multiple touches along that flat level, moving averages getting into alignment, trending up into that flat level. If we move down to the 120 and the 60-minute time frames, we can start to see those moving averages get into alignment a little better. But we've actually broken through this 124 level. We're pulling back. If we can start to get a consolidation of some small candles along this flat level, we'd be looking for a breakout long. And so what we can anticipate in terms of profit targets, looking at the width of this consolidation right about 122 to 124, roughly 2 points. If we get a break of this 2 points higher, takes us up to about 126, which puts us right back into that previous support level and that previous high, which should now become resistance. And that would be the first resistance point in the way of any future targets. So we'd want to be taking some profit there if we were to get long on the break of this 124 level. So it looks like a nice little counter trend trade there on the pound yen. If you look at this daily chart, there are a couple other signals here as well, breaking up into, trending up into this flat low. We've got a couple of nice bullish candles, one right here and then one right here, that keep getting us to get that price action to push higher up into that flat level for a potential break. So keep an eye out on that one. Should be a good one here in the coming week or two. And final currency pairing here on the Aussie dollar, looking at the monthly chart in a bullish pattern here. We just did put in a lower high here several months ago. Haven't put in a lower low. Potentially on some of these lower time frames, there's an opportunity here for a trade from this basically from this 101 level up into this next resistance level of 102. So on the daily chart, looking pretty bullish. Moving averages are crossing up, moving higher. As we move down to the 480 and the 240, we're getting all those moving averages in alignment, trending up nicely with higher highs, higher lows, and it looks like we're going to be trending right up into that 102 level before we get a pullback. So I'd be looking for some opportunities here on a trend flow trade, pullbacks in to that buy zone in and amongst the 10 and 20 period moving average. You have a nice backstop here at this level of 1 where we had several touches there and then just broke through last week. And so we'd be looking for a pullback. Look for those setup candles here on the 480, the 240, the 120, and the 60, and then look to at least take that back up into the 101 level, if not back up into that next resistance level of 102. So nice opportunity there to get long on what seems to be a short-term trend going back up on the Aussie dollar. So that's the outlook for the U.S. indices, large caps, small caps, a couple of foreign currencies for you for the upcoming week. And just like to thank you for watching the Open eCry market commentary for the week of June 18th, and we look forward to speaking to you again next week.